Thank you for staying with us. In this climb, many don't see the need to celebrate fathers. Many don't even understand the role fathers play in our lives. This morning, we're going to be discussing just this with our guest, Reverend Tari, Hudson, Ekiyor.
Reverend Tari, what's the weather like in Port Harcourt? Fathers,
good morning.
Is it raining fathers in Port Harcourt?
It's a bright, beautiful weather this morning in Port Harcourt. So,
Great.
Good time to celebrate fathers.
Yes, I'll just introduce you to our viewers and then we'll dig into the program proper. Reverend Tari Ekiyor, is the senior pastor of the Rest Place and coordinator of the Global Bishopric. That's a new word for me. Bishopric of Church of God Mission International, CGMI. Founder of the Professional Empires Network, PEN, and a member of the Board of Regents of Benson Idahosa University. He's also a guest facilitator at the Rema Bible Training Center. Reverend Tari is a member of several boards, amongst which are, above only Microfinance Bank, Special Vocational Bible School, and so on. He is coordinator of the renowned Port Harcourt City Help Fair, an outreach for the privileged or less privileged and challenged in the society, and also the Port Harcourt Knowledge Development Center. Reverend Tari is happily married and is blessed with children, which makes him qualified, more than qualified, for today's discussion. Reverend Tari, I welcome you to this program.
Good morning once again. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Reverend Tari.
Good morning.
It's lovely to have you here.
Yes.
Good morning, Reverend Tari.
Thank you.
At last, Reverend, men all over the world will be recognized in what we know as Father's Day. We will be appreciated and honored by our families all over the world. What should we expect?
All right. So, men all over the world, you see, the expectations are not very high because the society is not used to celebrating men. I mean, people believe that it's the responsibility of men to be men, so nobody should thank you for doing your job.
Okay.
So that's the usual expectation. But I think this year, a lot of people are beginning to realize that we must emphasize the role of men. We must talk about it. We must discuss. If we don't talk about it, then we cannot expect the men to live up to our individual expectations. So we need to talk about it. What do we expect from men? Why do we give more attention to women than we do to men? Because if you observe in the society, what a lot of people do is we raise our daughters to be ready for relationship. We prepare them for marriage. We prepare them for the society, basically. But you find out that men do not get the same attention in terms of grooming. We only focus on men in terms of career and money making. But I think today, as we honor fathers, I expect that people should begin to look at the role, the place of preparing fathers to be more responsible in society. Otherwise, we'll all have to pay for it one way or the other.
Absolutely, yes.
It's really awesome you've just said that, because that leads nicely to the next question, which is, with the increased agitation of gender parity by women, what do you think about the men still being the head of the family? Do you think they should feel threatened in any way? Because you've talked about preparing men. So do you think that they should still be the heads of the family? What do you think?
All right. The issue of headship, usually the use of the word head of the home sometimes can be deceptive. Now, when you say somebody is the head, it doesn't mean the person is the boss of the home. It just denotes or connotes leadership. It's leadership. That's what we're talking about. Provide leadership, provide direction. So basically, no man should be threatened by women's agitation to be more involved, to be more responsible for things in the home. I mean, if my wife is doing well, my wife has a PhD, she's doing very well, and I'm excited about it. I can't feel threatened because we know that the success of the woman is the success of the man ultimately. So I don't think men should be threatened at all, because headship doesn't mean you are the boss, the ruler, or the dictator of the home. It simply means you take most of the responsibilities. You must carry the responsibility. So if somebody says, I want to share that responsibility with you, I mean, you should welcome the person with open arms and be excited about it. But when people think that headship of the home is about rulership, being the dictator of the home, that's when they get threatened, when the women want to be more included, they want to play a more front role in the home. So for me, I think we should welcome the women into the space. We should let them share the responsibilities. We should let them fulfill their passion, their goals, and what have you in society. If the woman succeeds, if my wife succeeds, it's my success. I'm excited about that. But for the man, leadership, headship is about responsibility. And once you get that clearly, you will not be threatened anytime somebody asks to share that responsibility with you.
I like the way you've made it look, because you've made it feel a lot more comfortable, for so many men to swallow. But I think it's a function of how it is, how it is handled. Because in some cases, the women will rub it in your face so much that that you will regret usurping some of your position. Anyway, Reverend, we also get a feeling, that men have had a lot of their traditional roles eroded over time. Please, could you remind us of some of these roles that we may have forgotten about?
All right, thank you very much. A very important question. The role of men in the home cannot be overemphasized. We need to keep talking about it so that we remind ourselves, because in this world of distractions, a lot of things can call for your attention, and if you are not careful, you miss out on the most important things in life. The role of men, for me, I can see it I can take a biblical perspective and bring it home. As a pastor, I look at things basically first from the biblical perspective, but we bring it to the practical everyday world. If you look at the popular Lord's Prayer that we offer, our Lord's Prayer, that says, Our Father, who art in heaven. And basically, if you look through those verses, you will realize that the role of men, the role of fathers have been described in the roles of fathers have been described in that passage of the Bible. So looking at it first, it says, Our Father who art in heaven, thy kingdom come. Now that connotes leadership. The men must provide leadership and become models. So I'll use M's to do this so that everybody can remember them. One, the fathers must be models. If you look through those verses again, you will see that they need to define the mode of operation in their homes. They must be models. They must define the mode of operation, the modus operandi in their homes. They must be responsible for management of the home, management of materials, men, and moments in the home. And then they must be responsible for ministry. Now, when I say ministry, I'm talking about responsibility, the provision, the activities in the home. They must be responsible for that. So number one, model. Number two, mode. Number three, management. And number four, ministry. What do I mean by models? Fathers must be role models. They must show examples for their children. Research has shown that homes where you have responsible fathers, the children turn out to do better academically, they turn out to have better social skills, they turn out to be emotionally intelligent. Research has shown that a father that models for his children will raise great children for the society. So modeling is the first one. The father is the role model. The father must show the children what they need to look up to, the values they must look up to, the standards they must live up to. So the fathers are the role models in the home. You don't give your children instructions without modeling the way for them to follow. So I think the first thing men must know, our role as men, fathers, models, we are models. Children will copy, people will copy from the men. So the model, the next is the mode. How do you want the home to be? What do you want to see around your home? You must define the mode, and then management. The father is the chief manager, the chief responsibility officer of the home, and then ministry to ensure provision and what have you in the home. You know, if I can go on and talk about this, because absentee fathers have created a big gap in the society, where fathers chase money and forget to be the mentors of their children. If your children will turn out right, you have to be their mentor. You have to show them the model, the standard they must live up to. And this is the most important role fathers have to play in the home. How do you want your home to be? Vision creation. Every home must have a vision, just like companies. See your home as a business. See your home as a company, an organization. If you don't have a vision for the home, everybody will live the way they like. But if you create a picture of the future you want the children and the family to see, they will live up to that standard. So the father has the responsibility. And then I talked about management. One thing I must emphasize before I hand over to you again is when I talk about management of material, men, and moments, I can emphasize the moment. You know, if you miss the right moment, you can never get it back. You know, many people miss the most important time, especially the fathers. We chase money and miss the important moments in the lives of our children. Those moments, you can never get them back. Once the children grow up, they will be formed in their own way. You can never recover those times. So you must be able to manage those important moments in the lives of your children, in your family. This is really critical.
Okay. Great. So, Feran.
Wow.
What do you think?
Reverend Tari. Wow. Please, can I ask you to please write a book where all of these answers are inside that book, because it is so pungent. You know, I've just been scribbling. You know, it's so amazing. So you talked about responsibility. Men have to be responsible. They have to take the lead in terms of being the financial breadwinners. But here's the thing. In some instances, you find that this is no longer easy, particularly with the economy that we live in right now. So what does this do to the ego of the average man?
Okay, so thank you. Very good question. You see, it comes back to my first point of having a better perception or perspective of what marriage is. It's a team event. Marriage is about two people working on one vision and trying to build a conducive environment for their children. It's not a competition. It's not a competition. And we need to emphasize this over and over again. It's not a competition. Why should my ego be bruised if my wife is able to contribute? Life has different phases. There are different phases in life. There are times where you will be high up there, and there are other times where you will be not so high up there. And if your wife can come in and help, come on, give her the opportunity to do so. It's a partnership. So don't let once your ego is bruised when your wife is contributing and supporting in the home, it means that you have a wrong understanding of the marriage institution. It's a partnership. From the beginning, wasn't it Eve that gave Adam the apple to eat? And he took it. There are times where the women will make their input, they will make their contribution, looking at it from a different perspective. So basically, if the man has the resources, he should take the lead in providing. Because head of the home does not mean boss of the home. It means chief responsibility officer. You must provide for your home. I believe it is the traditional role of the man to provide. However, if he is not able at that time, he needs to allow the wife to do what she's able to do. There's no pride in it. There's no ego in it. You take up other responsibilities. If the woman is the one that is employed and the man doesn't have a job, there's nothing that says the man cannot take up the role of mentoring the children at home, taking care of them. And that's the most important responsibility in life. Mentoring children, bringing up children. That's the most important. You see, that's why women are more celebrated in society. Because when you grow up, you remember the times you spent with your mother. You remember the values she impacted on you. And you want to always go back to her because you know that you succeeded because of her. So men must also not shy away from taking that responsibility. If the woman is the one that is gainfully employed, why not? The noble task of mentoring your children at home, giving them attention at home, should not be undermined. It is not second-class responsibility. It's not below par responsibility. For me, it's the most important task because you are forming human lives. You are building society. They say the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world. Anyone who rocks the cradle rules the world. The one who nurses the baby, the one who spends more time with the children will be the ones that will influence society, because the values you impact on your children will turn out to determine how society turns out tomorrow. So for me, no shame about it. And the women must understand this. It's not easy because men are designed naturally to work, to function. Men do better when they can work, they can get busy. An idle man, like they say, is the devil's workshop. If you want to create trouble for a man, allow him to be idle. But when men are busy, they are more productive. So women must also understand that the men are not very excited to sit at home. I know some men are, but most men aren't. They want to get busy, they want to get working. So when you find the man in that situation, try to make it easy for him to be himself at home. Don't put so much pressure and don't compare him with other men. Understand that if he's the one taking care of the home at a particular time, that's important task. If you are the one doing it, that's important task. So partnership. What can I do better at this point in time? What can you do better at this point in time? Both parties are contributing. There's no point for shame or inferiority or ego trips and all of that.
Okay, Reverend Tari. I thought I was actually going to get you on my team, but the way it sounds, is your wife watching this program?
Yeah, definitely.
So I see why you're answering some of the questions.
No, not at all.
Are you sure?
I'm quite sure, but this is the reality of it.
It is
a partnership.
It is indeed, Reverend Tari. And quite frankly, there's so many angles to this whole thing, being a man and all of that. Sometimes we find that men would make themselves vulnerable. And a man who does that is likely to be seen as a weakling. There are certain things that you don't expect from men, Does this emotionally affect men and stop them from maybe optimum performance? What do you think?
It does in most cases because of the way society is framed. You see, this is basically about perceptions. And what I tell people is, you must not run your home based on other people's opinion. What works for you? And that's what you must define first. What works for you and your family? That's the first definition. When you make yourself vulnerable, it doesn't mean you are weak. And most men think so, that if I'm not bossing around, if I'm not bringing all the money, if I'm not dictating the pace, I'm a weak man. You see, most times when you make yourself vulnerable, then you are more influential. Whatever works for you, because many homes are falling apart, marriages are breaking up because people are insisting on their traditional rights in the home. But what you must ask yourself is, what works for me and my family? Before you insist on your traditional rights, you must look at what works. What is the best way to go about it? I know a lot of homes where the men are the cooks in the home. I know a lot of people. As a pastor, you talk to a lot of people, you interact with people all over. The men are the better cooks, and they take that role with pride. And the women are happy to let them do that. And then the women have that area of strength. When we begin to understand that this is a partnership, we are not in competition. I'm not competing with my wife. What can she do well? What can I do well? We look at what works for us. And that's how it works. Some women are better financial managers in the home. So men who are smart will let the women manage the financial resources of the home because they know that their wives are better resource managers.
I think
Some
they
men
all
are
are.
better resource managers.
They
So
all
when
they
you
all are
find what
better.
works in your home, it's not weakness to let your wife lead in the area of her strength while you lead in the area of your strength. And that's what partnerships are about. What are you bringing to the table? What am I bringing to the table? Together we build a strong home, we build a strong family, and we build children that will be seen as great influencers of society, positive influencers of society.
Oh.
And this is what it is truly all about.
Reverend Tari, you know what?
Yes.
You've given us so much in this first segment. I think we all deserve a quick break now. So we'll take that break, and when we return, you will still be there, right? And our viewers will be waiting for you. So let's go on a break now.
Good to be back. So, how do you groom a young man to being a fully grown man? Is there a code of practice for men? Reverend Tari, over to you.
All right, thank you very much. It comes back to if a father plays his role, a child will be all right. A young man will be all right. So the first code is we need fathers that will be present, not absentee fathers. So that's the bad, where we talk about good, we've looked at the good things fathers have to do, but the bad aspect where a lot of fathers fall victim is where you are expected to provide, so you are out there running around, and your duty is to make sure there's money, there's food, and you are running around and you miss the important moments in the lives of your children, in the family. And this is where a lot of fathers get it wrong. It's just like the cock. The cock plays no role in the hatching of the chicks, plays no role in the catering of the chicks. The cock just goes absent, goes AWOL, and the hen is left to take care of the chicks. You never see the cock around. They just go up. And that's quite bad, and it's not good for the children. The biggest thing any man, if you want your male children to turn out all right, please be present for them. Absentee fathers have caused more problems than anything else for the children in society. The children need to see the fathers as their role models. If you are present, the children will turn out all right, except you are a bad person. If you are a good person, if you are all right, you can model, you can show them the mode of operation, mentor them, point a vision to them. You can manage their resources, help them to learn how to manage resources, help them to learn how to manage the important things in life, let them see life from a different perspective. So here's the problem. A lot of young people are raised by society, not by their parents. So you see good men having bad children. You see good fathers having children that turn out to be a problem to society. That's the problem, because most of the time, the pressures of fatherhood, when we see that, provision, and I'm all over the place, we miss out on that important moment where we have to groom the children. So here's the thing. Be present for your children, fathers. That's the important thing.
Yes.
Children don't love their mothers more than their fathers, but they have no choice. They see their mothers more. So the fathers must deliberately create time. What is the time? Be deliberate about when you plan your schedule. Put in time for the kids. Take the kids out by yourself. Talk to them. Know what is happening around them. If fathers can be present for their children, trust me, children will turn out all right.
Wow. Reverend Tari. So when the producer tagged the program, the good, the bad, and the ugly, you've given us the good, you've given us the bad. I'm not sure there's anything like ugly fathers.
No, there
However,
There is.
However, Reverend Tari, I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to ask you that, you see, we've heard the phrase, be a man, be a man. Okay? Now, revealing certain emotions, like crying, is sometimes taboo to men. Or most times, or always taboo to men. You can't cry, you can't do this, and you can't do that. What are the options for men? Because this is our soft underbelly, we have emotions too. How do we manage them?
Okay, that's an important question, because a lot of men end up imploding because they bottle up a lot. Like I said, men have not, young men are not as effective when it comes to relationship as when you compare them to young women. Women are groomed. The mothers take after. From childhood, they keep saying, you hear them say something. Is this how you will be in your husband's house? The mothers keep telling the daughters, is this what you are going to do? So they prepare them from a young age for society. But the men are taught that you just have to be tough and work hard. And we are not taught a lot as men. And that's why I advocate that fathers need to be real to their children, be sincere to their children. Groom your children the way you want them to be. See, every man needs to talk. Men need to learn to talk. You may not be able to talk to everybody, but there has to be one or two people you must sit with to unburden. You can't do this by yourself. No human being can do it by themselves. Even the Bible talks about 2 or 3 gathering. That's because we were designed for society. We were designed to be relational beings. We cannot do it independently. So every man who is struggling and bottling up, sometimes they implode. You see, a lot of the life expectancy for men is quite low compared to that of the women. Men die quickly, faster than women. When you look at the science of it, because a lot of men try to bottle up, they don't open up, they don't talk. So please, men out there, fathers out there, you can't do this by yourself. You must find somebody you can trust to talk to unburden. Crying is not a sign of weakness. It's nature's design to help us lose that steam, to help us relieve ourselves. And so every time a human being cries, you feel a sense of relief. So please, if you don't want to cry in public, please go into your room and cry if you have to. But find people to talk to. Many men, because of ego, I've heard men say, I can't go and sit before a fellow man like me and begin to tell him my problems. You are going to die alone if you try to go it alone. So I want to encourage fathers out there. Every man must have a mentor. Somebody you respect, somebody you can look up to. And when things are tough, you sit with and unburden so that they can listen to you, hear you out, and share thoughts and ideas with you. When you do this, you find out that you can relieve yourself. You can get advice on better ways to do this. Don't be so proud. A lot of men have issues in their homes. They can't talk to anybody. And they go to the extent of stopping their wives from talking to others. So don't take our family matters outside. That's really bad. You must, as a family, agree on people to mentor your home so that you talk as much as you like. Find professionals to talk to. If you can't trust anybody, pay somebody, a professional that you can go to from time to time and unburden, talk, and get other perspectives of life. This is very important. But I don't believe, I'm not of the school of thought that says men shouldn't cry. Be a man does not be a man. It should be a statement of responsibility, not a statement of strength or power. No, that's not it. Be a man has to be a statement of responsibility. Step up to your responsibility. So when you say be a man, it should be step up to your responsibility. Don't shy away from your responsibilities at home and wherever you find yourself. But it shouldn't be referred to in terms of physical strength and all of these things we look at. So for me, find mentors. Talk to people. Don't bottle up. Talk to people who can give you advice, who can help you through difficult and tough times. Cry if you must. There's no shame in it. But when you are done, don't stay beaten. And that's where it becomes a problem. Don't stay beaten. Your family needs you to step up. So when you are done crying, wipe your eyes, step up again, and begin to lead the way in your home.
That's so much.
opinion.
That's so much relief for me. So now I know I can cry. Yeah?
You can.
I can.
You can. Just don't do it too often. Oh, wow. Wow. That, Reverend Tari, your nuggets are awesome, honestly. And we need to have more of these conversations. There was something you said earlier that I want to go back to. You said the man is the chief responsibility officer. So the CRO of his home.
Yeah.
If you were to write a job description for the role of chief responsibility officer, which in my opinion should be like a mandate to all men, especially young men who are any man who's going into marriage, for example, what would be the key responsibilities of that role, the CRO's role? Chief Responsibility Officer's
Thank you
role.
very much. First duty for me will be do the best you can to be married before you become a father. This is important because children must grow up in a conducive environment.
Okay.
What makes you a man is not your male organs. What makes you a man is your responsibility, your ability to step up to the plate, take responsibility. So, number one, be married first before you become a father so that the children can grow up in an ideal home. Number two, I think listening is the missing link. A chief responsibility officer is not necessarily the boss. He listens carefully so that he can implement the wishes, the team decisions, the board decisions. So the board is made up of the wife, the husband, the wife, and the children. The chief responsibility officer, the father, must learn to listen. If you don't listen, you will not be listened to. Many men don't understand this. They insist and then they end up getting their fingers burned. Learn to listen. What are your children trying to communicate? What is your wife trying to communicate? If you can listen to them, then you can forge good strategies to bring these things to pass. You can implement these things in the best way possible. So what do they want? Do you know what your children want? You are planning to send your kids abroad. Is that what they really want? You are spending all the time looking for money to give them the best life. You want to buy a car for your daughter when she turns 18. Is that what she really wants? You need to listen first before you act. Otherwise, you'll be buying good gifts, but they will not be appreciated. And you wonder why you are not being appreciated. That's because you don't listen. So men must learn to listen. Be married before you have become a father. Learn to listen. And then, like I mentioned before, model. Be the model. Be the vision caster. So you must show them the mode. How do we go in this home? Show them a vision. People don't follow people. People follow vision. When people follow people, it will only be for a short while. I've seen that happen. If you are popular, a lot of people will follow you. If you lose popularity, they will find somebody else. So what they really follow permanently is vision. So if you are able to show your family a picture of the future, your children will be more loyal. Your wife will be more committed because they know you are taking them somewhere. They know they are going somewhere. Even though you don't have it all together right now, if they see the picture of the future, they will be committed and loyal because they know you are headed somewhere and they see you working in that direction. But fathers, the ugly part of fathers, a lot of people will not allow them do this. When I talk about ugly, I'm looking at wife batterers, fathers that their children are scared of them. They are like monsters to their children. When the father comes home, the children scamper all around, finding the best place to hide, looking for. They don't find that love from their fathers. The fathers come in and inflict all harm. So some men think that I've married you so I can do anything to you. That's idiocy. You must know that marrying a woman does not mean owning a woman. You can't own a life because you can't create a life. The only one that owns us all is the one that created us. So if you can't create a life, you don't own any life. So wife batterers and all of those children abusers, you hear of men these days, fathers abusing their own daughters. That's madness. And this is the ugly part of it, where children trust their parents, their fathers, but their fathers betray that trust. That's the ugly part. Children hardly recover from that position. When a father is absent, a father doesn't live up to responsibility, a father abuses the child, it is hard for the children to live up to overcome that, to get out of that. They will need psychiatric help, they will need a psychologist to help them overcome that.
Wow.
So fathers, Chief Responsibility Officer, make your home a conducive place for work, for everybody to thrive. I will leave it at this point. I'm sure somebody got something.
And quite frankly, that is awesome stuff.
It is. It is. I was writing.
I wish we could go on and on and on, Reverend Tari. But you see, this thing called time sometimes is unfair. It's so unfair to us. But I hope that next time when we call on you to come, you will be there for us. All I need to say to you now is enjoy your gift of a new set of boxers and socks, because that's what fathers that's what fathers get most.
Well, maybe not in Nigeria.
At times like this. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Reverend Tari.
Thank you so much,
Thank you very
Reverend
much.
Tari.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Tari. And please, you do need to write a book. I will definitely be one of the people waiting in line to buy it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So
thank you very much.
We'll take
Happy
a break.
Father's Day, John.
Thank you, Reverend Tari. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, Feran will launch into her segment.
Launch into my segment.
With
So
our guests.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned.